Good morning and happy Thursday. Happy, thankful Thursday coming at you live from downtown Arlington Heights, Illinois. It's Thursday, June 6th, 2024, and I'm super grateful to be here on this thankful Thursday. We used to call it a thirsty Thursday back in my day. But we're thirsty for some love. We're thirsty for some personal growth. And we are thirsty for some community because we all want to do the best that we can, right? And that's why we're here on Live Beyond Default live stream. So as you know, I have my bulletproof coffee all ready to go. And wherever you're listening from, throw it in the chat. I'd love to see where you are. We appreciate you being here. And let's give this a roll right off the bat today. All right. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a battle you know nothing about. And that quote's from Wendy Mass and the Candy Makers. And on that note, welcome to this episode of Live Beyond Default live stream. It's Chicagoland's longest running live stream and your weekly dose of personal growth. My name is Dave. I'm your host, and this is episode 69. And I am super grateful that you are here. Thank you all for joining us. And we have an awesome show today. So, of course, you want to take out your notebook because there's going to be lots of nugs being dropped. And we're all growth-minded people here at Live Beyond Default. We know that being honest with ourselves and self-reflecting and challenging ourselves to be better is what it's all about. So I ask you, if your week has not been epic so far, why not? Let's ask ourselves that. Perhaps we're not taking responsibility for our thoughts and our words and our actions. So right now, it's time to take responsibility. Whether you're watching it live on Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or YouTube, or you're watching the replay on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, let's take responsibility for where we're at right now, all of us included. And we're not going to play the victim role in any case, no matter what's happened to us, no matter if somebody effed us over or we lost our job or we lost some money or Bitcoin price went down or interest rates are up or we can't find a home, whatever it is, we're not going to blame any outside forces. We're going to take full responsibility right in here. And that's where we begin to make the change and become the best versions of ourselves. So again, thank you for joining me today. And let's share a little bit of gratitude. Throw it in the chat what you're grateful for today. Today, I am grateful for my morning walk. Today, I am grateful for the flowers that are blooming all around my building in downtown Arlington Heights. And today, I am grateful for Ben Skemper and all the crew at Abundant, which this Saturday, I'm going to be flying off to California and going to Camp Abundant. Check it out, campabundant.com. So I'm going to be off grid. I'm going to be in the Redwood Forest for 6 nights. And I am excited. It's about professional development. It's about personal development. It's about community. It's about collaboration. It's going to be all entrepreneurs and business owners. And at the end of every night, we have a dance party to let it soak in and celebrate everything that we've learned and all the transformation that we're going through. Super exciting. So check it out at campabundant.com. I am leaving this Saturday and I'm so excited about this. And, you know, things that we resist is usually our biggest transformation and usually our biggest opportunity to grow and to share our gifts. So, Yeah, I'm resisting this a little bit, trying to make sure all the open loops are closed before I leave and make sure all my real estate clients are taken care of. Of course, I have all these listings going up now because I'm leaving. That's what they say in real estate, right? Go out of town and you get a bunch of listings. So that seems to be happening to me. Good morning, Dr. Hector. Thank you. Good morning, Christina. Good morning, Christian. I appreciate you being here. Thankful. And Christina says, today I am grateful for a good night's sleep, waking up to a beautiful day, and my schedule allowed me to be here right now. Hey, thank you, Christina. I so appreciate you saying that. Tom says he's excited about his kids. The last one is moving out Saturday. All of them doing so well in the first year of their grown up jobs. Yeah. How many people have kids that are leaving the house right now? I'm sure a lot of us out there do. It's an interesting time, right? Kids are leaving, kids are coming back. It's such an interesting moment when in the Chicagoland area when it shifts from winter to spring to summer. So much going on with everybody. So appreciate you being here. So let's dive into our topic because today's topic is kindness. All right. It's all about kindness. Now, remember to take out your notes. And if you're just joining us, we are on episode 69 of Live Beyond Default live stream, Chicagoland's longest running live stream, and your weekly dose of personal growth. All right. So let's talk about kindness. I hear so often that there's just not enough kindness going on, and people are mean and people are upset. And yeah, there might be some truth to that. I also think that we bring in what we're looking for. And if we're looking for that, well, that's what's coming in. And that's what we're going to see because of our reticular activation system. So when you buy a new car, do you notice how after that, you see the same car or the same color car all over the road? That's because your mind now is trained to start looking for what's in front of you and what's top of mind. So that's the same thing. If you think that people are not kind and they're always coming up negative, you're probably attracting and drawing it in. Although there's some truth to it, but we're going to be the change. Okay. We are part of that cultural renaissance where the world is growing. We are part of the leadership and the new kind, right? We're going to smash some of these old traditions and we're going to move forward. We're going to create that community and that collaboration, and we're going to hold each other responsible to our best selves. So let's talk about kindness. Oh, this last weekend, I was at one of my favorite stores, REI, and I was shopping for some clothes as I'm going on this camping excursion. I'm going to call it more like glamping, but it's a camping excursion. I'm going to be out in the woods. And from there, I decided to walk across to Whole Foods. Now, I was with Radka at the time. And the interesting thing is, we started across the street and noticed there were some cars coming. So we stopped. Well, a guy came up and he stopped mostly, but then he just kept going as we were starting to cross. So he didn't really see us and he had already kept going. Now, the funny thing is, in my mind, for like a half a second, I was like, oh, what a, like, why did he do that to us? Okay. And it's okay. Across the street, we went into Whole Foods. Well, wouldn't you know, I was buying some bananas and some apples. Honey Crisp are my favorite. And some pears. Aren't pears like the cutest little, like, funny shaped things? I just love pears. So I was in the fruit and vegetable area, and somebody says to me, hey, man, I'm sorry I cut you off outside. And I looked and I'm thinking, boy, do I know this guy? And I thought maybe it was a friend of mine that was messing with me. And no, it happened to be the guy who cut us off in his minivan going through the crosswalk. And it dropped into me. I got this feeling like, wow, is this real? Like, he's apologizing for it. And I said to him, thank you. I really appreciate you saying that. And he wouldn't have known that it was us, or I wouldn't have known it was him in the store. But I really appreciated that he apologized for that. And then I went on to tell him, like, for a half a second there, I was calling you a name. I was like, what the hell is this guy doing? Right? Like, I started getting negative thoughts. And I told him that. And I said, I apologize for that because I've done the same thing that you did before. And who knows what was going on in your mind. And then we began to talk a little bit. We proceeded to talk a little bit in the fruit and vegetable aisle. Love those red, golden, crisp, those honey crisp apples, right? And those Anjou pears. Like, ooh, they're so good. Think about it. Here, this guy in the Whole Foods, just filled with abundance, recognized me and came up to me and said something. And I thought that was such a kind gesture that he did that. And not only was it kind because he didn't have to do that, but it also reminded me not to have a bad thought if and when somebody doesn't hold the door open, or it slams in your face, or maybe somebody cuts you off, or maybe somebody says something, or maybe somebody does something to you, right? Maybe somebody was mean to you at a time. And then right away we get in our head and we're like, oh, and we get defensive. It's like, no, we don't know what that person's going through. We've probably done the same thing. And it's okay because everybody is doing the best they can with what they have at this time. So I want to say thank you, Mystery Man at Whole Foods in Northbrook, for apologizing to me for cutting us off going through the walkway. I really, really appreciate that. That random act of kindness really, it just made my week. So I am all about sharing kindness. We're all about there here on Live Beyond Default live stream. If you have a random act of kindness you want to share in the chat, throw it in there. Perhaps something's happened to you in the last week or two or month that you remember that really landed on your heart, that just reminded you of the goodness of humanity. I do believe that everybody really is programmed to be well. Things just happen sometimes, and I don't like to say things are bad or good. They just are. It's really how we react and how we perceive and how we decide to frame them. So this little cutoff that this guy did turned into an act of kindness, and it turned into the topic for this week's live stream, episode number 69. So yes, Christina, it was courageous too, and I so appreciate that gentleman did that. So in the meantime, this week there was a TEDx that has, I'm not sure if it was like 15 million views or 85 million views, but it was a lot of views. And my Break the Mold team shared that with me. Shout out to Scotty and Tom and Carolyn and AI Allen. What was interesting was, I believe it was Scotty that shared this video. And the caption says, after growing up in painful, abusive conditions, Aaron Stark was on his way to an atrocity until simple acts of kindness changed his life forever. So there is a TEDx with Aaron Stark, Aaron Stark, and he was on his way to an atrocity. And what he said there, now this is kind of a spoiler alert, okay, because it's part of the show and it's a topic. You can still watch the TEDx. So this gentleman, Aaron, begins by saying, I almost became a school shooter. I almost became a mass murderer. And he goes on to share the story of his life and how he was just shit upon so many times and all these things that happened to him. And then how eventually somebody treated him with kindness, treated him as a human. Not, oh, do you need help? But just like a human being, instead of being bullied and being made fun of. And because of those simple acts of kindness, it changed his life forever. And like he said, he was preparing to do a school shooting. And that's pretty intense what this guy is sharing here. Now, that's an extreme situation, but think about it. Think about where a random act of kindness, when it was done to you, really think about a random act of kindness that just made your day, something that was totally unexpected. And then all of a sudden, it just made your day. When did that happen to you? And I want you to relive that moment because I think it's really important to remind ourselves how valuable and how impactful just a simple random act of kindness is. And then on the other side, how easy it is for us to bring kindness to others, to strangers, to future friends, to family members, to coworkers. How about to a barista or a cashier at the Whole Foods or Trader Joe's or maybe Target or Jewel, or maybe it's someone sweeping the floors at the train station. Maybe it's someone that just doesn't look very happy. Maybe you're just walking down the street or jogging and you wave to somebody and you say hi. Recently, as I've been going on my walks in downtown Arlington Heights, I've noticed how many people not only are waving and saying hi, even people running by me, but even people across the street will say hi and they'll wave. It's like, oh my gosh, there's like 5 highs and waves by the time I'm finished with my half-hour walk. That little act of kindness, let me share with you how it just brings so much joy and love to my heart. So then when I'm making my real estate calls, when I'm working with my real estate clients, my sellers and my buyers, when they're going through a tough time, or I've got to negotiate to make sure I'm getting the best deal for them, those random acts of kindness just balance me out and make sure that I'm coming from a good place throughout the day. And the funny thing is, like the quote said in the beginning, when you share a random act of kindness with somebody, when you're kind to somebody, you never know the battle that they're fighting in their mind. You never know what they're going through. And nobody knows what you're going through either, which is why it's so impactful when somebody does something kind for us. So let's start thinking now as we have our notebooks out. Let's write down 1 or 2 times that somebody was kind to us. Let's mark that down. And then let's mark down also when we were kind to somebody, because it goes both ways. And we want to reciprocate. It's not just giving the gifts, we want to receive them too, right? And then where are there some opportunities that maybe, we weren't so kind, or we could have been a little bit kinder. And it brings me to a story right now. I just want to share something personal for a moment that a couple of weeks ago, my first cousin, Tony, passed away of a heart attack. And my cousin, Tony, was 57, and he lived in Costa Rica for the last 2 years. I don't think I'd seen him for at least 2, if not 3 years. And we had I felt like in my mind, we had some unfinished business, and that maybe there were times that we could have been kinder to each other, whether when we were in business together or just personally. And so I feel like there was some unfinished business, and how things maybe could have been better if we were a little bit kinder to each other. And it's not that we were mean to each other. I just think that we had some disagreements and there was like underlying tension because we weren't mean to each other. And it wasn't like there was fighting going on. There was just some things that we disagreed on, and now he's gone. And maybe there were times I disagreed with him because I wanted to live the life he was living, or who knows what was going on in his mind. And maybe there were times he disagreed with me because who knows what was going on in his head, or he thought something of me. Whatever it is, I just wanted to say, Cousin Tony, I miss you. And you really brought life to the world. Everybody, you just lit up the room no matter where you went. And you were such a good guy and such a hard worker. And I just want to say that no matter what maybe we disagreed about a few times, that I love you very much. And I am going to carry on your legacy of living life to the fullest. I know your wife, Colleen, is going to do the same. Colleen, um, much love to you. And we're all going to learn from what the way that you lived life. And it makes me think too, why do we have the opportunity to do so much so often that it's when a tragedy happens where we start to all of a sudden think about our life and do things. And that's not the right time to do it. It's not the right time to do it when tragedy strikes. The time to do it is now. Let's, again, because we're all growth minded, we're self-reflective, and we're honest about where we are in our lives. Write down in your notebooks or in your Apple Notes more random acts of kindness. Who would you be kind to today? And where could you have done better in the past? And who do you want to thank for bringing you a random act of kindness in the past that maybe made your day? We are all part of this cultural renaissance taking place in the world today. And now, more than ever, with so much going on in the world, so much uncertainty, there's such strong technology. Who knows where that's going to go? We have conflict all around the world that just seems to be escalating. We have he said, she said, pointing fingers going on around here as we're coming up to an election later on this year. There's just a lot of finger pointing and a lot of tribalism, and we're all one, and all of our energy collectively makes this world. So it could be us and little pockets of us, whether it's in our business especially. You know, Gary V, he talks about being kind in business all the time. And he says you don't have to be mean or a dick to be successful in business. Now, probably seen it a lot, and it's happened a lot. And unfortunately, a lot of successful businesses or companies, you've seen people maybe not act in the most kind manner. We don't have to do that. We could be kind, whether you're working in customer service, the midnight shift, whether you're sweeping floors, or maybe you are a flight attendant, right? Maybe you're working retail and people are just all over you and saying, where's this? And hurry up. Maybe you're in real estate like me, and sometimes clients get upset, or you work with another agent and they're not being the most kind, or you feel like they're kind of attacking or they're saying some things. It's not the time for us to fight back. That doesn't make it any better. You know what happened with Tupac and Biggie, right? The hell do you think that was? It's not time to fight back. It's time to just let go and not resist it and be the change that the world is longing for. Be that person that you know that you are. And I struggle with that every day when I wake up. I say, what do I get to do? And I say, how am I going to be a better person? It's not easy, which is why I'm so excited about going on Camp Abundant this weekend. campabundant.com. Check it out. But mostly, I know that I owe it to the world. I owe it to the world to be good and to be kind-hearted to others, and to encourage others to be their best selves, to encourage others to live beyond default, not living the life that they're told to live, but fully expressing themselves. And I'm here to tell myself every day to do the same. So as we are talking about kindness, it reminds me back in the day, remember Blockbuster Video? I know Alan Stern still has his Blockbuster Video card. Back in the day, a Blockbuster Video, there used to be a little sticker on the VHS tapes, and there'd be a picture of a bee on there, and it would say, "Be kind, rewind." And it's like the cheesiest little thing. For some reason, though, I thought of that this week with the topic being kindness. Like, yeah, be kind, rewind. It's so cheesy, but it's kind of fun. And I also thought about being a kid and sometimes watching Mr. Rogers. And he was always super kind, right? Mr. Rogers was really all about kindness, whether he was singing "Won't You Be My Neighbor," or he was talking to Mr. McFeely, or that train, or whatever, the king and queen of whatever land, like, I don't know, whatever it was, but it just was such a kind show. And the same thing with, who's really kind too? I just saw an episode while I was at Pasero eating some pizza in downtown Arlington Heights. Who was, that guy who paints, that painter guy. I don't think he's around anymore. No, he's not around, but he would paint and talk while he was painting. If somebody remembers who that is, throw it in the chat. Yeah, like, he was a super kind guy, right? So as I mentioned, with the reticular activation system, like, when you have something top of mind and you're looking for something, you're going to get it. And when we're looking for kindness, we'll find it. But it starts in here. It starts on our heart and wanting to give that kindness to others. And here's something to remember too. And kindness is not about being recognized that you're doing the kindness. Right? Tweet that one, social media, Sarah. That is a good one. And that's a challenging one because that hits us in the ego. And that ego could be our enemy sometimes, can't it? So, good book by Brian Holiday, by the way. Ego is the enemy. Anyway, so the ego wants us to be recognized for the kindness. The kindness that we bring to others and the kindness that we bring to the world. Really, though, the kindness that counts the most is the kindness behind closed doors. The kindness that nobody sees you're doing. The kindness that somebody is not going to feel it till maybe later. It's not an instant gratification thing. Very, very interesting when that happens and when you do that, because you tend to forget about it, and then maybe later on it comes up, or maybe you never hear about it again. The point is not to hear about it. It's not about the end result. It's about the process, and it's about bringing that kindness every single day, the best that you can, to everyone around you. Everyone around you. And that's hard to do, especially if someone's kind of hurt you or done something. I don't know. You can take responsibility for it. And, when you're angry at someone, you're just holding that energy. You're not doing anything to them. You're actually hurting yourself. And we all know that. And I've done it. We've all done it. We're all about honesty here, right? We're all about being vulnerable. So maybe we're angry at someone right now, or we're holding some negative feelings where it's just best to let go and maybe bring some kindness to that person that maybe hurt us in the back. So remember, kindness behind closed doors, very, very popular. Kindness behind closed doors. Just remember that. And also, I think it was Brene Brown too. She always says that clarity is kind. And that's something, I love that term. Clarity is kind. And why I like it is because when you're clear with people about your intentions, when you're clear with yourself about what you want, when you're clear with others, whether it's clients or coworkers, and you're clear with them about boundaries or what's needed to be done to get to that next step or to close that deal. When you're clear with people and transparent and upfront and open, it's kind, because then everybody understands where they are. Everybody understands what needs to be done, and everybody understands where you're coming from. So let's remember that one too, and write that one down in our notebooks today. Clarity is kind. Being clear with others, being clear with yourself, and being clear and intentional with people around you. Really, really important. And yeah, we're all growth-minded individuals. We're all self-reflective. We're watching other podcasts besides Live Beyond Default, LiveStream. Maybe you like to watch Ed Milet, or maybe you like to watch Lewis Howes, or maybe you like to watch another podcast, Joe Rogan. Yeah, all these people out there just do super cool stuff. And we're all doing our best to be kind here. And super exciting. Speaking about kind and the divine feminine, and somebody who's super awesome, Daphne Paris is going to be, I like to call her Paras. Daphne Paris is going to be on 2 weeks from now. So that'll be Thursday, June 20th. And that's episode 70 of Live Beyond Default Live Stream. You're going to want to make sure that you're here, because Daphne and I jam, and we've become close friends. And what's really cool is that she is an entrepreneur. She is a just female, fully expressing herself, and she's not afraid to say what's on her mind. And she's doing some really, really cool things. She's got some great events coming up. So that'll be on next episode. Let's take a couple of questions right now before we close out. If we kept it quiet, how do we spread the word and create a ripple effect? Not ego, but collaboration. That's a great question, Christina. So if we're going to keep something quiet, it could be just taking care of something that's not your quote unquote in your job description. Or maybe just, you could be walking down the sidewalk and you see a piece of garbage. So you just pick it up, and then the next garbage can you see, you throw it in there. So it's just doing something kind for others or the world that somebody is not going to necessarily see it right there. So there's lots of little ways to do that. Thank you for asking that question. And Christian says, everyone should live the best life they can while they are young. And remember, when you see anyone, especially someone you love or are friends with, it might be the last time you see them. Be kind. Yeah, Christian, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And on that note, we are going to end the show. So remember, if you're watching the replay, share this with others. Hit like, hit the subscribe button. Of course, we're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram Live. And the replay is on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And you know, we end every show with an act of kindness. And that's from Gabby Vargas. So from Gabby and me to all of you, pick up your phone today and text someone, I'm thinking of you. That's it. I'm thinking of you. Thank you again for watching Live Beyond Default live stream, episode number 69, your weekly dose of personal growth and Chicagoland's longest running live stream. And until next time, make it a great week. Thank you for watching, and I love you all.